Well, it's a beautiful Saturday morning out here in the Peace Country, and I thought I'd follow up a little bit on our discussions about the importance of compliance to process. And of course, I'm always talking about turnaround process myself, but really the things I'm talking about here, it doesn't matter. For any process to work, compliance is critical. I think we can all agree on that. And I think we also got to the point of understanding that due to the human nature of the human workforce, if we're going to expect compliance, particularly on very complex processes, it's going to require more than just leadership sign-off. It's going to require leadership support in the form of accountability to drive compliance. And all of that we've talked about already, that's all true regardless of size. So let's say that we've been successful at that, because there's another level to where these challenges go. And I've been here myself, so I'm speaking from experience right now. You've been successful with your process to the point where, say there was historical numbers for the facility where you started this at, say, $475 an hour DFLs. And through the implementation and compliance to process that you've driven, you're now logging numbers, say, $150 an hour DFL. And leadership is rightfully very excited by that. And predictably, the next thing that you hear is, you know what, that's great. Go make that happen across the company spectrum. And the company spectrum might, let's just use, because I don't want to make this specific to any one industry, so let's just use execution estimates. Say your class 3 estimates in where you started are typically $100 million jobs, and you have facilities that they now want you to standardize to this all the way down to, say, maybe, $8-ish million jobs. Well, this is where you need to, before you go out in the field and try to impose this, you need to be thinking about scalability. And I've written about this subject here on LinkedIn in the past, and I'm going to link that written article into the comments below. But the gist of it is, you might have 350 given activities in your master milestone schedule, aka plan to plan. And that's working perfect in the facility that the process was originally implemented in. But you will not, at the size of facility that would be implementing $8 and $10 million outages, as well as I do that you will have zero success implementing a 350-step, 2 to 3 year long process in facilities with that kind of spend range. You need scalability. Your process needs to be scalable. And my advice here is, even if you're working in a single refinery and you're never going to be asked to spread this down through a whole myriad of smaller and smaller facilities, this is a good exercise for everybody in the turnaround management world to go through. Imagine what you would do with your process if you had to meet that challenge that I had to meet. Well, the key to doing it all resides in something we've talked about lots in the past, your key deliverables. Because there's going to be, on that given thing, there's going to be somewhere between 40 and 75 activities in your original master milestone schedule that are just plain core to success at any size. And then there'll be a handful of other things that need to be utilized based on the quirks of the company budget cycle or whatever. And that's how you begin to build a scalable process. Because you can't implement a process for a $300 million oil refinery turnaround in a $10 million compressor battery challenge. So those of you that are up against this, it's becoming more and more common as companies buy up more and more assets. And it is completely reasonable that a company would want a successful process to filter down through all of their assets. I mean, let's face it, if you have a come apart on a $300 million turnaround and it runs to $600 million, there's going to be a lot of attention on that. There's probably going to be forensic audits. There's going to be a whole bunch of things take place, all of them which are going to be unpleasant. Well, consider this. If the class 3 estimate on an $8 million turnaround ends up coming home at $16 million, that is the exact same level of failure. It doesn't get the attention because there's not as many zeros. But it's understandable that we would want to gain project control just as much over that project as over the bigger projects. Have a nice day. I'm going to carry on with my walk.